Hey guys, so we came across a pretty little gem that we've never seen before here in Saint Augustine. So we're at the treasure chest. So imagine taking a step back in time to not only what the city had to offer, but what it was like for a family to live. So this is an actual house where a family lived back in that time, and you get to see a lot of things. So come along the way. We're gonna show you how to make some candles and yarn and rope and dyes. It's an amazing adventure. Definitely a wonderful stop you need to come to. Check them out. Everything's gonna be in the description. But come on, let's go inside.
Here, we talk about the daily family life, the chores that you would have been doing here during that time period. So the first project that we're gonna do is dip some candles because they needed light. The Spanish weren't burning candles here very often. Mostly they were burning fish oil. You're gonna take a small scrap of fabric, dip it down in some fish oil, and burn it. It's gonna give you a little bit of light, put out a terrible smell. The Menorcans, when they left Menorca, they were already famous around the world for their honey. So they bring beeswax here, and they start making candles, and that's one of the things that this family did to make a little extra money. Pablo Sabat was a woodworker, so we'll do some woodworking as well. But first, we're gonna start out with some candles. So come on out here. Out right there and let it drip, drip, drip. Okay, now go back down in there. Perfect. Let it drip. And there, good. That's available.
I've made candles at Girl Scout camp.
All right,
Yeah,
good. So she's gonna show y'all how it's done, right?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. If you were sailing on a ship from Saint Augustine to Spain, it's going to take you 3 months to get there. Certainly on that 3-month journey, one of the ropes on your sails is going to break. You have to be able to make a new rope on the ship. So this was a vital skill for sailing and for daily life here in Saint Augustine. If your cow gets loose, goes over and eats the neighbor's turnips, they're going to get mad at you, right? We don't want our neighbors mad at us, so we've got to be able to make a rope to keep the cow in the yard. So we are going to make a rope. If you'll come up here, give you the hard job. You're going to stand here, just put your foot on there, okay? Now, I'm going to grab a pair of colonial scissors here. And if you, sir, will come over here, and you're going to hold on to this rope here, just like that. Perfect. I'll get you started on your job in a minute. So I've got to string this across. We're going to make a 3-strand rope. So I'm just going to hook this onto that hook there, and just keep holding that just like that. And turn this handle, and just keep turning it. You're going to turn it about 100 times. So now, let go of the hook and just going to hold onto the rope there and loosen your grip just a little bit. Go ahead and start turning and keep going. Just go as fast as you can. So what this is doing here is twisting each of these strands together. And then, as I start to move the rope separator, this hook will start to turn and it'll start to twist all 3 of them together and make a rope. We're doing great. How many twists is that? Have you been counting? No, keep going. And perfect. Just hold what you've got down there for a moment. And just like that, you made a rope. Now if the cow escapes, you can bring it back.
Super cool.
Put your hands on there. And then just up and down like that. Put your other hand where mine is. There. There you go. If it took me 4 hours to get through this piece of wood, you can imagine what it's going to take to make a table like this. It's going to take you 6 or 8 weeks. But that table would last you the entire time that you lived here in St. Augustine. When the wool comes off the sheep, it looks more like this, okay? This is raw wool. It's got a lot of sticks and twigs and fleas and all sorts of stuff in it. It smells bad too. This has been carded a little bit, so it doesn't smell quite as bad, but one of the things that you would have to do is card the wool because we need all of the fibers running in the same direction. So what you're gonna do is just brush the wool like this. I want to get all the fibers running in the same direction. And then, once we've got it all running in the same direction, then we can spin it. I'm going to spin this by hand. So what you do is pinch and pull and twist. And pinch and pull and twist. And you just keep pinching and pulling and twisting. And that's how you make thread. And you keep going until you have yarn. And then you would want to dye this, because we don't all want to wear white, right? So to make the dyes, we'll come over here. Feel that? Pretty tough string. Okay. So next, you want to make dyes. These are actually cochineal beetles. These are found on the prickly pear cactus in Central and South America. They were worth more than gold at the time. Remember I told you that the indigo is the second most valuable dye? This is the most valuable dye in the world at the time. It's worth more than gold. So what you're going to do is take a few of the cochineal beetles, put them into here, and then just crush them up. So you're going to take the mortar and pestle and just spin it around in there until it grinds up the beetles. It's just that little bit of powder there and water.
Wow.
Gives you that beautiful red. Dip your fabric down into that boiling red water, you're going to get the red for the British uniforms. Oh my goodness. Hi Lily, we're going to have a fun night tonight. She might join us on the tour tonight. Yeah. You don't have to worry. One night, there was a young man working here by the name of Garrett. Garrett was scheduled to come to work one day, but he didn't have any child care for his daughter. So he calls the owners and said, hey, I'm not going to be able to come to work. I don't have anybody to watch my daughter. The owner says, you know what, I really need you to come to work. How about you just bring your daughter to work with you? Slide in this way, there's going to be a car coming through and I don't need any news stories to add to this tour. So Garrett brings his daughter to work with him. He's back here in the kitchen preparing the meals for the day. His daughter's out in the dining room drawing on some papers. And all of a sudden, Garrett hears his daughter talking to somebody. He knows that the dining room is locked, nobody else in the building. So, peeks around the corner, sees his daughter talking to an empty chair. He scolds her. He says, sweetie, knock it off, quit being silly. Daughter looks up at him and says, what do you mean, Daddy? You don't see him too? She explains that she's talking to a 10-year-old boy. Garrett scolds her again. He says, knock it off, quit being silly, I've got work to do. And at that moment, the chair falls over. Garrett comes back here towards the kitchen. As he's walking back behind the bar, there's 2 wine racks at each end of the bar. Simultaneously, 5 bottles of wine, followed by 2 wine racks, shattered all over the bar. Garrett walks back here to the kitchen, grabs his personal tools, grabs his daughter, walks out of the building, and never returns. He's not going to work in a haunted building. This is the Casa de Solano Inn. This is a 10-room inn. The building was built during the British time period by a man by the name of Manuel Solano. Manuel Solano was one of only 8 Spanish citizens that was allowed to remain here during the British time period. These 8 Spanish men are left behind to sell off the personal belongings of those Spanish soldiers. When they left on those boats to go to Cuba, there's not enough room on the ships for all the people plus all of their belongings. So these 8 men are left behind to sell off the personal belongings to the British soldiers as they're arriving into town, and they earn a hefty commission. Manuel winds up marrying a British woman. They have 2 children together. but their marriage wasn't recognized by the Catholic Church, so it winds up being annulled. So Manuel winds up marrying Maria, and they have 11 children together. They all lived here. Maria is still here. Maria is often seen in her white dress on the balcony on the far side of the building, watching as the ships arrive into our harbor. She's often seen in her white dress here on this balcony here, watching out over the weddings that take place in this beautiful courtyard almost every weekend. Maria is famous for walking down the hallways, turning those doorknobs just like Ida Alice used to do. She is well known for standing right in the threshold of the door, not coming into your room, but letting her presence be felt by standing there in the threshold. She's also known to lightly whisper to the guest and to gently touch them, and that's where I draw the line. Ms. Wainwright.